Have you ever felt it, that chilling sense of déjà vu, not in a place, but in a moment of pain? The same argument with a different partner. The same financial crisis despite a new job. The same feeling of being misunderstood surrounded by new faces. It's a ghost in the machine of your life. A recurring nightmare you can't seem to wake from. You chalk it up to bad luck, to poor choices, to a cruel and random universe. But what if I told you this isn't a coincidence? What if it's a design? This is not a curse, it is a classroom, and the lesson will repeat over and over until you finally learn it. Welcome, soul traveler, to the invisible architecture of your existence. Today we do not just observe the prison walls, we uncover the hidden blueprint of the karmic cycle, and we find the key to set you free. The concept of karma is often oversimplified in the West, a cosmic vending machine of good and bad deeds, but its true essence is far more profound, a knowledge whispered in the mystery schools of antiquity, from the banks of the Nile to the foothills of the Himalayas. The ancient Egyptians spoke of Mat, the principle of cosmic truth, order, and balance. To live against Mat was to create a dissonance that would echo beyond a single lifetime. In their view, your heart was weighed against a feather after death. A heavy heart burdened by unresolved patterns was destined to repeat its journey. The Greeks, too, sensed this invisible script. Their moirae, or fates, were three sister goddesses who spun, measured, and cut the thread of life. But what they were truly weaving were patterns of cause and effect, threads of destiny, shaped by choices made in ignorance. However, it was the Eastern sages who gave it a name: samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, driven by karma. They saw that we are not punished for our actions, but by them. The energy of an unresolved emotiona, deep-seated fear, a burning resentment, an unhealed betrayal does not simply vanish when we die. It crystallizes, it becomes a seed planted in the soil of our next existence, waiting for the right conditions to bloom into the same familiar suffering. This knowledge wasn't meant to be a doctrine of fear. It was a map of liberation, but like all powerful truths, it was submerged, misunderstood, and diluted over time. Why? Because to understand the karmic cycle is to realize that no external authority, no priest, no king, no god, holds the key to your fate. You do. And that is the most terrifying and empowering secret of all. So what is a karmic cycle? Really imagine it as a soul's curriculum designed by your higher self before you even entered this life. It is a spiritual obstacle course, and each obstacle is a lesson you chose to master. Every karmic cycle has 4 distinct stages, playing out like an invisible cosmic play. First, the karmic seed. This is the unlearned lesson, the core wound from a past experience, perhaps many lifetimes ago. It could be a profound sense of unworthiness, a deep-seated fear of abandonment, a pattern of betrayal, or an inability to embrace your own power. This seed lies dormant within your soul's DNA. Second, the trigger, the universe, in its infinite intelligence, will send you a catalyst. This often comes in the form of a person, a situation, or a challenge that resonates perfectly with your karmic seed. You meet someone who feels uncannily familiar. You enter a job that mirrors a past failure, or you face a choice that echoes an old regret. This is the watering of the seed. Third, the unconscious reaction. This is where the cycle gains its power. When triggered, you don't respond from your conscious, rational mind. You react from the wound. You replay the old script. If your wound is abandonment, you become clingy, or push people away. First, if it's unworthiness, you self-sabotage. You perform the same actions, speak the same words, and feel the same emotions, all on autopilot. The thorny vine begins to grow. Fourth, the inevitable A2. The result is always the same. The relationship ends, the opportunity is lost, the suffering is reinforced. You are left standing in the ruins wondering, why does this always happen to me? You have just completed one more loop, strengthening the pattern and ensuring the lesson will be presented to you again, perhaps even more intensely next time. Consider the soul, whose core lesson is self-worth. It might attract partners who are critical and dismissive. The trigger is their partner's criticism. The unconscious reaction is to try harder to please them, to shrink to prove their worth. The inevitable outcome is feeling even more worthless as they fail to win the unwinnable approval. The cycle is complete. The universe sighs and says, "Let's try this again." But here the mystery deepens. Sometimes the pattern you're repeating doesn't feel like your own. The weight on your shoulders feels ancient, inherited. This is because you are not just living out your own karmic script. You're often entangled in something much larger, the karmic knot. A karmic knot is an intersection of personal, ancestral, and even collective karma. Ancestral karma, think of it as an energetic inheritance. The unresolved traumas, deep-seated beliefs, and powerful emotional patterns of your ancestors are passed down through your lineage, not just genetically, but energetically. Your great-grandmother's unspoken grief, your grandfather's suppressed rage, their fears of scarcity, these energies can live within your own field. You may find yourself struggling with a fear of poverty that makes no logical sense in your life, only to discover your family line was ravaged by war or famine. You are being given the honor and the challenge of being the one who finally heals the chain. Collective karma. We are also part of larger soul groups, our nation, our culture, our humanity. We participate in the collective karma of our time. The patterns of conflict, division, and environmental destruction are not just out there. They are cycles. We are all co-creating and have the shared responsibility to transmute. The most common misunderstanding about karma is seeing it as punishment. It is never punishment. It is physics. It is balance. The universe does not judge, it only reflects. The cycle is not a cage, but a chrysalis. The intense pressure is designed to force a metamorphosis, to compel you to evolve beyond the limited self you thought you were. It is a fierce, relentless, and ultimately loving act of cosmic grace. Knowledge is the map, but it is not the territory to break the cycle. You must become an alchemist of the soul, turning the lead of your suffering into the gold of wisdom. This requires 3 sacred acts: awareness, acceptance, and action. 1 radical awareness. You must become a detective of your own life when you find yourself in that familiar, painful place. Do not get lost in the drama. Step back, observe, get a journal, and write. What is the trigger? What are the exact feelings that arise? What is your first impulse? What story are you telling yourself? You must watch the pattern play out without judgment, as a scientist watches an experiment. This act of pure observation is the first crack of light in the prison wall. It separates you, the consciousness, from the pattern, the program. 2. Deep acceptance, ending the war within. Your first instinct is to hate the pattern, to fight it, to feel shame. This is resistance, and it only feeds the cycle more energy. The second step is to accept it, not to resign yourself to it, but to acknowledge its presence with a strange kind of reverence. Say to it, "I see you. I understand you are here to teach me something. I will no longer fight you." This is the principle of amor fati, love of one's fate. By accepting the lesson, you stop wasting energy on resistance and start gathering power for transformation. 3. Conscious action. The pattern interrupt. This is the moment of true magic. The next time the trigger appears and you feel the powerful pull of your unconscious reaction, you must choose differently. This is the hardest part. It will feel unnatural, terrifying, like stepping off a cliff. If your pattern is to retreat into silence, you must speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. If your pattern is to seek validation, you must give it to yourself and walk away. If your pattern is to people please, you must set a boundary clearly and calmly. This one single new action is a declaration to the universe. It says, the lesson is learned. You are consciously breaking the energetic circuit. The energy that was trapped in the loop is now released, and you are free. The karmic cycle is not a life sentence, but a sacred invitation. It is the universe's way of asking you, who do you choose to be? It is a constant loving pressure guiding you to shed the skins of your past, to heal the wounds of your lineage, and to step into the sovereign power of your soul. You are not the clay being helplessly molded by the hands of fate. You are the sculptor. The repeating patterns are simply the places where you have not yet dared to carve. They are the rough stone waiting for the loving and courageous strike of your conscious choice. So the next time you feel the familiar pull of that old story, the cold dread of that repeating pain pause, breathe, remember that you are standing on sacred ground at the very altar of your own evolution. The question is not whether the cycle will come again. It will. The only question that matters is, this will you answer? T as a prisoner, or A, it's the liberator you were born to be. Shar. E in the comments. E, one pattern you are. Pay, ready to release. B, writing it, you debt. Lare it to the univ. Her say, let us bear witten. S, to one another's. Liberation, the journey. A is long, but to get her, we light the way.